The A's had an afternoon game today. They lost that one, so we're going to talk about that loss. We're going to talk about Wednesday night's loss, and then we're going to have some nice things to say, and then we're going to wrap up today's episode by talking about what's going on with all this bunting. It's wild to me. I got some thoughts. Let's get into it, you guys.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On A's. Stepping to the mic, it's your host, Jason Burke.
How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 566 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's show, we're talking about the A's loss on Thursday afternoon. It was a 5-3 loss, so it was close. That was nice. And then we're going to talk about the 7-2 drubbing that they took in 10 innings on Wednesday night. And then we're going to wrap up talking about some bunting and what the heck's going on there. The A's also made a bunch of roster moves, so we're going to go over all of those. But before we get into anything, today's episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Stop throwing away all of your money. That's a bad thing to do. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. And also, thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. So if you're already on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe and like and comment down below. That is how the channel grows and finds other fans that may like this content like you do. So that is a nice way and a nice thing to do, and I appreciate everybody that does. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever A's news happens. It's at Inside the A's. That's at Inside the A's on Twitter or si.com/MLB/athletics. But let's talk a little bit, before we get into the latest loss for the A's, let's talk about the roster moves that were made. There was a big shakeup that happened before the game. Some big names got DFA'd, some veteran names DFA'd, and also Adam Oller got sent down. So they DFA'd Jeurys Familia. Big veteran presence. He's been having a meh season so far. I think he had 13 walks in like 12 and a third innings pitched, so not great. He only had like a 6 ERA, so he was one of the better options. So it had been an up and down struggle for him. He hadn't been necessarily doing it, and so that not surprising in that realm. But the surprising name here was that Domingo Acevedo, who was kind of the Yusmeiro Petit of last year, also got DFA'd. He had like a 10 ERA. He hadn't been doing well. Mark Kotsay said after Wednesday's game that he hasn't been getting as much swing and miss on his slider. And so that's part of it. He's also been elevating balls a little bit more and getting hits. Guys have just been waiting for him to elevate, and then they've been taking advantage of that. He's been getting hit. Both those guys, I believe, have whips over 2. So cut them off, I guess, is what they're doing. They're just like, get rid of them. We'll see if we can do better with the guys that we just brought up. Those guys that they just brought up, Rico Garcia and Spencer Patton and Austin Pruitt. Austin Pruitt, obviously, with the A's last season, he was okay. He had like a 4.23 ERA. He was interesting last year. He wasn't like dominant by any means, but he had some nice stretches. He can go a couple of innings if you need him to. Spencer Patton, the A's signed as a minor league free agent about a month ago. Rico Garcia was signed in the offseason. They're all guys with big league experience, not necessarily like stellar performances, but they've got experience. We'll see what happens. Rico Garcia is the one that really interests me of those guys because he's got some stuff, but every time he would make it to the major leagues, his strikeout rate would plummet. And so I want to see, can he strike guys out at the big league level? That is what we're going to be looking out for. And everybody's has like a 2 ERA right now in the minors. Spencer Patton and Rico Garcia had 2 saves with the Aviators. That's nice. So if the A's ever are winning a game late, like they had been up until today, maybe they have more options now. Also, I'll talk about another option that may be on the table according to Mark Kotsay. But let's talk about this loss real quick. The A's lost 5-3. They got swept by Seattle. Drew Rosinski was good until he wasn't. He went 3 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, 5 earned runs, walked 5. that's where he fell apart and struck out 3. He basically lost all command with 2 outs in the 4th inning. And here's the sequence that got him pulled from the game. Walk, double, walk, walk, single, walk. Then he's out. After 4 walks, Mark Kotze's like, I've had enough. I think we need to make a change here. And so he did. The bullpen, this is wild. I've tweeted this out if you don't follow me. If you do follow me, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again. Coming into this game, the A's had 13 scoreless innings from their starting pitching coming into this game in the month of May. Obviously, that's leading baseball in the month of May through 2 games. 7 of those innings were no-hit innings as well. The bullpen today flipped the script a little bit because the A's had gone 0-2 in those games with excellent starting pitching. Now, with the bullpen, they went 5 and a third scoreless innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 3. All 3 of the new bullpen arrivals pitched in this game. They all pitched well. They all did just fine. So it was lots of moves. Interesting moves. It's showing that they kind of want to try and win at the very least. It seemed like some of the guys were into it in the 9th inning. Everybody had their rally caps on. They had their glasses flipped upside down, or their sunglasses flipped upside down. And so they were trying something. They really want to win here. And we're going to talk about what is not getting them wins in the 3rd segment today, and that's bunting. But it looked like they were trying a little bit, and so that was good, I guess. Trying to change the vibes, I guess, is really what I'm getting after there. They want to switch the narrative around this team, and winning would help. Winning a few games could do it. JJ Bleday did his best. He got called up yesterday. I believe we talked. I don't know if we talked about that actually, because I don't remember when I recorded. Anyways, Bleday went 2 for 4 in this game on Thursday. Had his first A's home run. He's hitting 250 right now. He's 1 for 4 or whatever. 2 for 8. That's the one. He's averaging a 1 for 4. The A's with this loss are now 6-26 on the season. They went 1-5 on the homestand. They're on pace for 30 wins on the season. 30 wins. I think that they're a better team than 30 wins. Nobody had them at 30 wins, but I thought that they'd be like a 70-win team. Honestly, 70, 75, somewhere in there. I was like, no, I'm feeling this team. The offense has been okay. The pitching has been horrendous. I thought the pitching would be better. I was looking at last year's stats and be like, yeah, if they do that again, they've got some solid pieces. They currently do not have a lot of solid pieces outside of Mason Miller and others. So they're piecing it together is where we're at right now. There's definitely guys that are interesting right now. Esteury Ruiz, he had a triple, an RBI triple in the 4th inning. Whatever inning it was, doesn't matter because they lost. And he's a fun player to watch. Mason Miller, fun to watch on the mound. Luis Medina, when he comes back up, he's going to be fun to watch. There's some young guys that are fun to watch on this team, if we're being quite honest, and that I'm rooting for. I like a lot of these guys. And so I want them to turn it around and show what they can do at the big league level, because right now, not happening. There was also a fun part where Jesus Aguilar was playing first base. He was going into foul territory, the vast foul territory at the Oakland Coliseum. And a ball clearly dropped, and he slid on top of it, and he picked up the ball. He's like, I got it. And they did not give him the out. I thought that they should have, just because why not? It's the A's. They could use some breaks every now and then. They did not give it to him. The A's lost this game. Blame it on the umps, obviously. Some quick injury notes, though. Trevor May they have put a pause on Trevor May's rehab stint. He threw his rehab appearance, his first one on Tuesday. From a baseball standpoint, Mark Kotze said that he would probably need one more before he was going to be ready. So it seems as though something else from his stint is acting up, and so they're going to put a pause. There's no timeline for him to return just yet. So Trevor May has a pause on his rehab right now. Manny Pena had a setback with an impingement in his wrist, and so he's talking to a specialist on Thursday. We'll see where he's at with that, but I mean, it's not like they necessarily need to rush him either, because that means that they got to make a decision with Carlos Pena and what to do with him. And Carlos Perez. I don't know where Carlos Pena. I think I read his name somewhere today, Carlos Pena's name, and I was like, oh yeah, that's Carlos Perez. That's the name. What they need to figure out what to do with him, and if they can carry 3 catchers on this roster for some reason or not. And so this just allows them more time to figure that all out. Adrian Martinez is going to throw a 35-pitch bullpen on Friday for the A's. And here's some big news for you guys, and that is that Shintaro Fujinami's role in the bullpen could be changing before too long. He gets asked about Shintaro Fujinami all the time. And it's like, is he ready for back-to-back days? Is he ready for this? Is he ready for this? And Mark Kotsay said before the game that, quote, we got to challenge him at some points. I think that challenge could be in the near future, end quote. Whether or not that means that he's going to be the closer, unsure. Whether or not that means that he can be a guy that they put in with like runners on and not give him like a clean inning to start. Unclear what he necessarily meant, but I took it as Fuji could be the A's closer before too long, so get ready for that ride. But coming up, we're going to talk about JP Sears and his domination of the Seattle Mariners since he came to Oakland, so stay locked in, you guys. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's easy to get caught up in what everybody else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I know for me, I'm a giver. That's what I like to do. But sometimes I need to just sit alone in a room and be with my thoughts, because that's how I get a peace of mind. And that helps me out a lot personally. But we all spend... When we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burned out. Therapy can give you the tools that you need to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. The A's are taking on the Royals on Friday at, I believe, 5 o'clock Pacific time. And you can catch every pitch with the hometown broadcast on the SiriusXM app. Just download the SXM app, search for Athletics, and you can just enjoy from there. Also, welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever A's news happens. It's at Inside the A's, si.com/MLB/athletics. But let's talk about JP Sears, because this is a running thing for me. I noticed it because he kept being placed against Luis Castillo last season, because they were both trade deadline acquisitions. The Mariners got Luis Castillo, who was like the other big pitcher to get at the trade deadline aside from Frankie Montas. The A's got JP Sears as part of a package for Frankie Montas. They kept being paired against each other, and JP Sears outpitched him every single time. So I was like, hey, that's cool. Let's see if that continues. Well, by golly, it did. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 0 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 7. He's been really, really good. Here are his game lines from his now 4 outings against, that's 1. So his other 3 outings against the Seattle Mariners. 5 innings, he's given up 6 hits. This is from 1 start. 5 innings, 6 hits, earned run, walked 1, struck out 3. That's from August 21st. That was a 3rd inning solo home run from Mitch Haniger, was the run that he allowed in that game. And then on September 20th, 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, a run, it was not earned, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. And then on October 1st, just a few days later, 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He's absolutely dominated these guys. He has a current 19-inning scoreless streak against Seattle, which is impressive. And in total, he has thrown 22 innings in 4 outings, given up 13 hits, 2 runs. Only 1 of those has been earned, walked 8, and struck out 23. JP Sears knows how to pitch to the Seattle Mariners, and it's his little bendy sweeper. That's what... You saw this from Mason Miller. He was relying on his breaking pitches a little bit more. Drew Rosinski, he was his most frequently used pitch on Thursday was his slider, not his fastball, his slider. I think that the A's know the game plan on how to beat the Seattle Mariners, and that's it. They just didn't beat them, but they know how to keep the offense at bay. They just need to be able to, attack their hitter. Seattle has really good pitching. They need to learn how to hit Seattle pitching is kind of the issue, and also not blow leads. That's the other one. Have a better bullpen for the A's. Also in that game, Esteury Ruiz broke a 0-0 tie for the second straight night with an RBI double in the 6th inning. He's done that. He had done that 2 straight games, which is just fun, I think. He's been really good. I don't know that you give up Sean Murphy for him, but I really like watching Ruiz play. I'm going to say that. He's a joy to watch. He had to catch up against the wall. I don't know if he saved a home run. I think that it probably would have hit like towards the top of the wall, but it was a fun catch. He jumped for it. It was cool. It would have been cooler if it was going over the wall, but it was a cool catch. And then he had the RBI triple on Thursday as well. He's been a lot of fun to watch. And also coming into this game, he was 14 for 32 with runners in scoring position. That's a .438 batting average with a .500 on base percentage. So he's basically automatic when he comes up with runners in scoring position. This is just what he does. So if somebody's coming up, if there's a runner on first and Ruiz is not on deck but in the hole, if he's on deck, that's what I meant. Sacrifice the guy over. That's the only time that bunts are acceptable, is to move the runner over so that Esteury Ruiz has a runner in scoring position because that runner's coming home. It happens almost 50% of the time, which is a really high percentage of the time. So just get a runner in scoring position for Esteury Ruiz and just let him do his magic. Why not? Give up the out. Who cares at that point? You're getting at least a run. Do it. Also, he swiped 2 bags on Wednesday. That's the one. He leads the American League, or at least coming into the game, he led the American League in stolen bases with 13. He is tied for second in Major League Baseball with Ji-hwan Bae of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ronald Acuna Jr., who is having a stellar season right now, has 14 stolen bases. I have both Ruiz and Acuna Jr. on my fantasy team, and I am very happy, stolen base-wise, for that fact. Having Acuna is just also nice. I got him like 6th, 7th. I don't remember what pick I had, but it was not 1st or 2nd, and he has been the best. So really enjoying that so far. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk about something that I'm not enjoying very much at all, and that's bunts. Why bunts? I don't have an answer for you, but we're going to talk about it coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think that they're spending around $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is closer to $200. I believe that I'm closer to the $200, if not more than that. I don't want to know, honestly. I should probably use the Rocket Money to find out exactly how much damage I'm doing to my bank account each and every month. If you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money. Are rising prices stressing you out? If you're looking for ways to cut costs, you need Rocket Money. Over 80% of the people who have subscriptions, have subscriptions that they have forgotten about, and chances are you and I are some of those people, like that Stars app that you used to watch one show, or that free gaming trial that you never actually used. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. Stop throwing away your money and cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. That's rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. rocketmoney.com/LockedOnMLB. The A's and Royals are going at it over the weekend, and you can listen to all the action from the hometown broadcast on the Sirius XM app. All you got to do is download the SXM app and search athletics, and then you can listen to Ken and Johnny and Vince and whoever else might be in the booth that day, and just have some fun. Go do that. It's a fun way to do it. Also, you can find the Locked On A's podcast on the SiriusXM app as well. So feel free to do that as well. But anyways, welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way. Whatever A's news happens, it's at Inside the A's. Over at Inside the A's, I think that tonight I'm going to try and figure out exactly why Domingo Acevedo was, stuff-wise, why he was DFA'd, because he has a track record of being very good for the A's. He's 29, so sure. And, relievers are volatile and all that stuff, so cut bait, I guess. But I want to try and look inside the numbers and see what I can find. And if it's interesting, I'm going to write that up and post that later tonight for you guys. So keep an eye out over there. But let's talk a little bit about some bunting that had me fuming, absolutely fuming on Wednesday night. JJ Bleday bunted, and that was not the right call. I'm going to go ahead and say bottom of the ninth, tie game. Ramon Laureano singles to lead off the inning. JJ Bleday is hitting behind him. And he tried two very bad bunt attempts, put him in an 0-2 hole. He struck out on the third pitch. Why would you have him do that? So I looked it up. Here are his stats. Here's how prolific a sacrifice bunter he has been in the minor leagues and in the major leagues. In his career, here are his numbers. He has gotten 0 sack bunts down in 1,105 MILB plate appearances. 1,105 minor league baseball plate appearances. 0 sacrifice bunts. Maybe he's not the right guy for the job. Either pinch hit him or let him play his own game. Not everybody has to bunt. A couple of people in my mentions were like, no, you got to be good at the fundamentals. If you're not an established hitter, he's not like, they didn't say it, he's not like Miguel Cabrera or like prime Miguel Cabrera, but that's what the insinuation was. He's not an established guy, so he should be good at the fundamentals. Not everybody's good at the fundamentals anymore. They're not. It doesn't necessarily matter anymore. Not everybody does that anymore. It's just the way baseball is, and not everybody needs to friggin' bunt. His game basically is working the count, which we've seen in the minor leagues. He had a 16.8% walk rate this season in the minor leagues in that 1 month. You got him. Okay, again, 0 out of 1,105 in the minor leagues, or a 16.8% chance of drawing a walk and moving that guy over just by taking some pitches. I know that the pitcher was good, and he's probably not going to walk him, but maybe he throws a few more pitches. Maybe one gets away. Maybe some other stuff happens. But bunting is probably not how you're going to get that guy over to second base with JJ Bleday at bat. That is not his game. His game is, in fact, working the count and driving the ball. We saw, I believe it was his first at-bat on Thursday. He hit a homer. He hit a home run when he was allowed to swing the bat. He could have won the game right there with a home run from JJ Bleday, and instead of giving up an out and not even advancing the runner. Not everybody needs to bunt. That's just a thought. I don't know. And here's some other stats for you guys. From last season, between AAA and the big leagues, he had 23 doubles, 2 triples, 25 home runs. That's a lot of extra base hits. It's a lot of extra base hits. One of those could have done it. One of those could have won the game. Didn't get a chance to swing the bat. He got 1 pitch, as opposed to the allotted 3 that you usually get. Instead, they put him in an 0-2 hole. He almost popped out behind the catch. He didn't even put the ball in play. He almost popped out. They were not good bunt attempts, and I'm not mad at JJ Bleday at all. He was asked to bunt. He was like, sure, I'm new to the team. I want to help this team win. That's not the right call. Plain and simple. And I get that you want to win, and you only need one run to win the game. I get that. You can play small ball when you need to win that one right there. But he just was not the right guy in that situation. You need the one run. Get it however you can. It doesn't have to be a bunt. It could be a single. It could be a walk. It could be hit it deep to left and let him try and tag up on the play. A lot of people were like, Ramon should have been stealing right there. Ramon's like an okay stealer. He's not great. People think that stolen bases are automatic now, and I don't know that they necessarily are. I think that for me, obviously you want to win the game. You want to win the game and get the taste of winning back in guys' mouths. But I don't know that a well-executed bunt is going to be like, yeah, we won that game, as opposed to like, no, the new guy got a double, brought home Ramon from first, and they won this game. An executed bunt doesn't necessarily have that same impact. It doesn't get everybody to go, yeah, as a ball flying into the gap and then just watching a Ramon run. It doesn't have the same impact. So, yay, they tried bunting, and it didn't work. They've been bunting a lot, and Days have 6 wins. It feels like they're pressing to try and get some wins here, as opposed to just letting the guys play. Not like the shackles are on, but they're not allowed to go out and play their games and do their thing sometimes. And so that's frustrating. I could see that being frustrating as a player, at least. But those are my thoughts on bunting. Don't do it. It's literally. This is the back of my phone that I have to. It says how to bunt. 1, don't. 2, hit a dinger. I have to hide that from everybody in the clubhouse as I'm taking notes or, the recordings. I make sure that nobody sees that because I'm usually talking to Mark Kotze and pitchers. And it doesn't feel professional. So just hit a dinger. Don't bunt, hit a dinger. Whatever, it's fine. Anyways, that's all that I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. For you everydayers, tomorrow we're going to be getting you ready for the Kansas City series. And I said this last weekend, and I still feel okay about that. They won 2 of those games, even though the record doesn't say so. There could be some wins coming this weekend because the Royals are not a good team either. The A's bats could actually bludgeon, potentially, Royals pitching. I haven't looked at their stats, but they're not good. And they're Mason Miller, he's thrown on Sunday against the worst offense in baseball. You guys wanted that no-hitter. It might be coming on Sunday. That's I'm gonna have to look into that. But that's my bold prediction as of right now before doing any research. No research has been done. Mason Miller, no-hitter. Perfect game. Screw it. Why not? We could use one. But that's all that I got for you guys today. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans, and I will talk with you tomorrow.